Welcome to episode 24 of the Visionary Investor Podcast. Not understanding the current economic landscape makes it near impossible to be a successful investor. With some banks projecting low chances of a recession in 2024, I'm here to show you some important details that may have you thinking differently. The average decline of the S&P 500 from the start of a recession to low point over the past 8 recessions, dating back to the 1960s, is 23.8%. While most make it seem like it's not possible to predict a recession, based on studying the patterns, I'm here to tell you that it's absolutely possible. And guess what? Even if you figure out within a few months of when a recession starts or will start, you're on a journey to protecting your wealth. Most people don't know when we're in a recession until we're deep into it or until it's over. Enber defines a recession as the following: a significant decline in economic activity that is spread out across the economy and lasts more than a few months. Enber mentions specifically what they look at to determine a recession, and some of these key indicators are employment, GDP and GDI, personal income, personal consumption expenditures, or inflation. This information is literally handed to us by the organization that's declaring a recession. Yet, so many economists, banks, so much out there is telling us we're not near a recession. So I want to break things down and show you a little bit about what I see going on behind the scenes. I've created my own recession warning indicator model around these key indicators that Ember looks at and some others that I've found to be very predictive of recessions. I've been working on this since about 2014. There are similar patterns that every recession exhibits. However, without following the data and knowing what to look for, sure, it can definitely seem impossible to understand when a recession is coming. We saw the 10-year Treasury versus the 3-month T-bill invert in November of 2022. On average, over the past 8 recessions, a recession has followed this 11 months after. But the range has been from 5 months to 16 months using this specific spread. A lot of what we hear in the news is using the 10-year Treasury minus the 2-year Treasury, the average has been 17 months, with a minimum of 5 months and a maximum of 33 months. Imagine being 33 months away from a recession. That makes it really difficult to target and understand when a recession is really coming. So the closer we can get using different key patterns and different models, the better chance we're going to have to predict that recession. Over the past few months alone, we've seen the following. Sure, inflation has come down, but personal income has come down as well. Employment numbers have come down and unemployment rate has been rising. So while the Fed has a difficult task to manage the economy overall, we do see inflation is getting closer to the number it needs to be, but we're noticing that unemployment is going in the opposite direction, which is common. The complexities that exist in the economy and predicting a recession can seem very daunting, and they can seem impossible to predict because there are so many different indicators out there. But when you just narrow it down to about 5 to 10 of the most important indicators, you'll notice there are key patterns that you can use to predict a recession and to better understand how to invest into the stock market, real estate, or whatever else that you're investing into. Well, so many are very fixated on the Fed funds rate, which is definitely an important metric to look at. When we combine this with other indicators such as inflation, income, employment, and others, we can get a better understanding of where we are in the economic cycles. Not every recession looks exactly the same, but the patterns around the recessions, especially when it comes down to these few indicators, very often tend to follow similar patterns. And when you study the past recessions, you'll see this too. If you're trying to just look at all of the information out there, there are so many other indicators and ways to look at each specific indicator, it can be very confusing. This is why I've broken things down into very simple and easy to understand highlights, and that's accessible to everyone inside the Protect Your Wealth VIP program. If you're someone who's serious about protecting your wealth, click the link in the description to apply to our program. Inside, you'll get a better understanding of what to look for when trying to understand where we are in the economic landscape and specifically how that impacts your investing strategy. Learning how to decipher the difference between macroeconomics and microeconomics, learning how to understand the impact of recessions on the stock market and specifically the stocks that you're investing into is crucial for you to be able to properly protect your wealth and create generational legacies. If you listen to the news and you listen to different economists, you're going to hear different percentages of how likely we are to hit a recession in 2024. When you actually look at these key indicators, especially the ones that Enber discusses and uses to determine how far we are from a recession and when we hit a recession, you'll notice that we're closer to a recession than most are discussing. Not understanding the current economic landscape makes it near impossible to be a successful investor. Master the patterns around past recessions to protect your wealth. This way you can master the markets, whether it's a bull or bear. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to like, rate, and subscribe to the podcast and continue listening everywhere you get your podcasts. Have a great day.